When I first started, I bought a little handheld GPS. It showed you the track going out and just follow the track coming back. And then you go a little bit further, another day. If you don't know where you're going out here, you get lost pretty quick. When you're in the maze of the Marls, there are bonefish there that I've never seen a fly.
You're hooked to this silver bullet.
Got it? Yeah, buddy. There you go. Good shot. Made a turn. Nice.
The northern Bahamas is really unique. We're on the Little Bahama Bank here. We have two islands. We have Grand Bahama, and the island we're on right now is Abaco. Such a diverse fishery. On each island, you have totally different fisheries from one another. It's not just one particular fishery. Just here in Abaco, you have the Marls of Abaco, which is hundreds of thousands of square miles of pure flats with mangrove islands and mud and rock, and it's just a major juvenile habitat for bonefish, but also a ton of adults live in there too. And you go to the east side of Abaco, and it's a little bit deeper flats, and there are just big bonefish around there. You're hunting. That's what makes bonefishing so unique. So you really have to be strategic in how you approach bonefishing. You have to present the fly properly, and if you don't do that, they're probably going to take off. They're called the ghosts of the flats for a reason. They're hard to see, they're hard to catch.
Probably 80 feet out there right now.
Oh, I see.
Right at 11.
Almost
Almost there. That might work.
I think the best part about this bonefish fishery is how good it's gotten since the storm.
Category 5 storm hitting the Bahamas, heading for the southeast.
Storm leaving so much devastation in its path. Take a look at this apartment building on Abaco Island.
One of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes in recorded history.
5 tornadoes in the midst of the hurricane. It was crazy. It's a big comeback. It's like a little joke, but I think the fish went out in deeper water until we were ready to come and play with them. And after they knew we finished the house and stuff like that, so they came back. You know, bonefish, that's how we make our money, and so that's how we take care of our family and put our children in school. And that's why it's so special to us. Yeah, it's great, you know. Bahamians, they are down to eat. They'll share you all their life stories. And that's the way to be. Everybody know one another, and so they'll look out for each other.
You get out there, you're disconnected from everything else. Especially on a calm day, it's so quiet out there, your ears start to ring. I mean, there's nothing around you for miles and miles, so it's one of those places you can kind of just escape out there. I feel like a lot of people think of the Bahamas, oh, I've been there on a cruise, I've been to Nassau, I've been to Bimini. That's not the Bahamas. Abaco is, all the out islands are just a whole nother world.
If you don't love catching bonefish, there's something wrong with you. This fish sees the fly, eats the fly, you come tight. And that moment right there is why we all do it.
Most of the bonefish here kind of bounce around their diet based on, you know, where they're feeding. Most of the fish that you see in the grass and in the marls are eating crabs and shrimp. Abaco offers, kind of a mix of the different kinds of bone fishing you can do. You can go fish in the marsh and the mangroves on the Marl side and catch a whole bunch. The fish are spooky, but we have this awesome opportunity over here to wade on the ocean side of the island and fish for these bigger fish that average, 4 or 5 pounds. And they tail hard, it's hard walking. You can walk grass, you can walk on the rocks, you can walk white sand. So you get a huge mix of different ways you can come here to fish. And you can do it so many different ways. You don't necessarily need a boat to be here. If you have a preference on how you catch a fish, you can tell the guide that you're gonna fish with that day what you wanna go do and how you wanna do it. And they're pretty good about accommodating that because there is just so much different water that you can fish and so many variations of how the fish behave and the size of the fish. It just kind of makes this place the ultimate when it comes to bone fishing.
I'm the only guy in the family is a guide. I meet a lot of guys who want me to teach them, but they never get back to me. They say they'll let me know.
Like my son, I tried to get him into it. Nobody wants to do it, I don't think this generation wants to do hard work anymore. That's why I'm glad I got Kai into it.
I don't enjoy being on land. Twiddle my thumbs at home. I'd rather just be out there. Even if I'm not fishing, I just like to look around. I'm always looking at new stuff. That's what I really like to do. If I'm not guiding, I'm looking on Google Earth saying, okay, I want to go look here. Or if my wife wants to go to the beach, I'm looking at this beach, see if there's a bonefish swimming by, or God forbid, there might be a permit somewhere around here somewhere. You just never know out there. Being out there in general, that's what it's all about. It's not about catching the fish, it's being on the water.
The Marls is hundreds or thousands of square miles of fishable water, and it changes so much with the water levels and the moons and how these fish are moving around. And there's some areas back in there that nobody can get into, even with the perfect skiff. You'd have to get in there and almost carry the boat to put it into this next pocket that's plenty deep to fish, and you can keep running from there. It's all about putting in the time and being willing, and that's what I really like about fishing with Kai and being able to spend a bunch of time with Kai, is that he's willing and ready to really push the limits and going to see exactly what's out there, because there's so much that we don't understand about this place. And it doesn't matter how long you've been fishing here, if you're not willing to push those limits and run 30 miles in the skiff and trying to figure out where the permit are, or where these giant bonefish are that probably have never seen a fly. You're gonna see all the same stuff, and it's gonna be awesome because it's the Bahamas and this fishing is unbelievable. But there is just so much untapped potential with those other species that people wanna come and target. Abaco is a hidden gem permit fishery, I think. All of the Bahamas is a pretty solid permit fishery. It's just never been the focus here because everybody wants to come here and fish for bonefish. But if you want to tick your biggest permit of your life off your list and never catch one bigger, this is the place to come. You get these giant fish that come up on the flats in the late spring and all through the summer, early fall, that ride the backs of stingrays. And when those fish are on the back of a stingray, just buckle up, because that fish is feeding and it's focused, and that's the fish you can catch.
We probably have some of the most pristine bonefish and the largest bonefish habitat in the world. BTT's main mission is to identify as many important bonefish habitats as possible, spawning sites, juvenile habitat, migratory pathways, and get those areas protected. Because what we found here in the Bahamas is that unsustainable development through habitat degradation and habitat loss is the greatest threat to bonefish fishery in the Bahamas. And bonefishing, we did a study back in 2018, we found that it brings in excess of $169 million to the Bahamas annually, especially to the small outer islands. So in the Bahamas, bonefish are very culturally important. They're on our 10-cent coin. They actually used to be a staple of the Bahamian diet before we used to get food imports in from the US. Just stories talking with old-time guides back in the day, they would have a big bonefish for like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner rather than have a turkey or a ham. And so they are a very important part of the Bahamas. Like you can't say Bahamas without thinking bonefish, especially in the angling world.
I've been living here for quite a few years, and a lot of the people haven't changed. They're still the same old way, you know. You go in the shop and you see somebody, you know, they say, well, good morning or good afternoon, how are you doing today, and this, you know. And I've been to other places and, you know, you'll speak to someone and they won't even look at you, they'll walk right by you. It's probably one of the best in the world, especially bone fishing. If you can come here in the summer when the weather's good, you'll get tired of seeing bonefish.